Today we're going to be discussing New Vintage USA auxiliary inputs and icon settings. New Vintage USA offers auxiliary inputs that can be displayed on the high contrast OLED screens. We have gauge readings and icons available for you to use if needed. Depending on the gauge and kit, there is either one or two auxiliary inputs available on the master gauges. Gauge inputs are operated by a sender. Use our standard temperature and pressure senders to display additional information. Let's cover the gauge inputs first. To set up your auxiliary input, follow the instructions for the gauge set you are using. The auxiliary 1 and auxiliary 2 inputs are labeled in the wiring diagram. Refer to the diagram and use the specified colored wires for each input to be used. The red arrows indicate the available auxiliary inputs on this kit. In this instance, there are 3 available, 1 on the speedometer and 2 on the tachometer. To set up your auxiliary input, hold in the remote programming button while turning on the key. Then scroll by tapping the button until you get to the desired auxiliary input. We're going to set this up on auxiliary 2. Then scroll by tapping the button until you reach the desired item to monitor. Once you reach that desired item, hold in the button until it says Input Set. That's it. The input is now set. Make sure to install the matching 99320-04 temperature gauge to match the gauge setting per the chart. Auxiliary inputs. Restart the gauge by cycling the power with the key. The new settings will take effect. To view the auxiliary input screen, just scroll to it by tapping the button. If you have 2 auxiliary inputs being used, they will have to be viewed separately, and you can do that just by tapping the button and going from screen to screen. Auxiliary icons are a great way to add even more functionality to your new Vintage USA gauge kit. At right is a listing of each standard icons available in the kit already built into the programming. To activate the icon, a good ground signal is required. If you have a 12-volt positive signal, please check out the diagram in the instructions, and you can also check out our relay video available on our page. It has a lot of great information about using relays in your builds. To set up your auxiliary input, hold in the remote programming button while turning on the key. You'll get into setup mode. Scroll to the desired auxiliary icon, 1 or 2. Hold in the button till you see the new menu. Then you can scroll through all the settings and see which one you'd like to use. Once you see it, hold in the button and it'll say set and yes. You can even choose not used. So we're going to choose cruise, set and yes, hold in the button, icon set. Okay, that is now set up on this auxiliary input. You can also follow the same process if you want to use a second icon and you have the available wire. So again, we can scroll through everything, do the same setup, set yes, icon set, that one's ready to go. Restart the gauge by cycling the vehicle power. When the icons are active, they will interrupt the main screen for about approximately 45 seconds. And here you'll see them in action and then back to the main screen. There's the cruise. There's the airbag again. You can display them both at one time, one at a time. It just depends on what the signal coming in is, but it's a nice, easy way to add extra icons in your build without adding extra lights, boxes, modules, drivers, and they're free. They're already built in. Just going to show these a couple more times. Let it cycle. So to wrap this up, the inputs are a great way to add functionality to your new Vintage USA kit without additional headache or boxes. For auxiliary input gauges, displays, you must use the standard New Vintage USA sender as shown in the chart. Auxiliary icons require a good ground to operate properly. Make sure it's a clean, solid ground. And if you need some help with this, feel free to reach out to us. You can email us at service@newvintageusa.com, call us 248-850-5482, or you can get with us on Facebook or Instagram Messenger, and we'll get with you as soon as we can. Thanks for watching this video, and hopefully this helped you get your gauges up and running.